Tighten Up is brought to you by Last Shot Premium Hydration, the official hydration drink of Tighten Up, the podcast. Their revolutionary formula is jam-packed with vitamin B12 and 0 grams of sugar. It helps the Titans hydrate, replenish, and recover. Try it at Callahan Hall during a Titans game or learn more at lastshotofficial.com.
Detroit, it's time to tighten up. Welcome to Tighten Up, the podcast, presented by The Shield NIL. Brought to you by Hyperice and Last Shot Energy. A state of the Titans, the latest in Detroit Mercy athletics, and a chance to hear from Titans all over the world. Here's your host, Dan Hasty.
Yes, Tighten Up, the podcast. The show's so nice, they did it twice. Welcome back, everybody. Dan Hasty, happy to be back with you for another edition of Tighten Up, a very special edition. It is the first time that we get to have our first conversation as part of Tighten Up from one of the focal points of the resurgence of men's basketball. We get a chance to hear from somebody. I cannot wait for you to hear this conversation, because once we got him in the room, it became very apparent why this coaching staff, why Mark Montgomery, why Lamonte Stone and Lamar Chapman decided to build this program and look at this program and say, who's the right person to lead this program from 1-31 and get this train back on the tracks. And now for our special guest.
Lovejoy and company has in store for us here. 14 points, 8 assists for the junior. Lovejoy stepping through. Wow. 74-72.
Take over this game, young man. What a shot. They circled Orlando Lovejoy. And once you figure out that Orlando Lovejoy is not an outsider, and so many times, so many players learn about these places before they get here or on a visit. And there's nothing wrong with that. But as you're going to learn, Orlando Lovejoy might actually be able to be a Detroit Mercy tour guide. He could have probably shown prospective students around this campus before he even threw on the jersey to represent this school. He could be your starting guard and your town historian all at the same time. I cannot wait. We're not going to take a whole lot of time. We're going to jump right into this conversation with Orlando Lovejoy. But I do want to say one other thing, because this is an important show, and we'd be remiss if we didn't say this is a show done in conjunction, and a huge shout out with our friends at The Shield. You can find out more information online at theshieldnil.org. And as you listen to this conversation with Orlando and you learn about his story, if you're compelled, go check out that website. These are kids that need your support. And we are recording this just moments after Detroit Mercy men's basketball pulled off a stunning victory over Purdue Fort Wayne, thanks to this bucket set up by Orlando Lovejoy.
11 seconds to go. Lovejoy. Off to Jeter. The three by the big man. You gotta be kidding me. 79-78. 2.6 to go. Legend Jeter with the career high and then some here today.
And that's what makes him a legend. What a day for Legend Jeter. So again, that website is theshieldnil.org. You can also follow us on X and Instagram at theshieldnil. If you have been following Detroit Mercy athletics for any considerable length of time, I think you'll be hard-pressed to find somebody who is as woven into the fabric of Detroit Mercy athletics as our next guest. I really think you're going to appreciate this conversation with Orlando Lovejoy. And it happens right now here on Tighten Up, the podcast. Follow Orlando on X at SwaggyOJ and on Instagram at HollywoodLando. Tighten Up, the podcast continues. I'm just so happy and elated to be able to start Tighten Up with this young man, Orlando Lovejoy, who has been a catalyst for Detroit Mercy men's basketball. All of a sudden, you look at a team that won all of one game last season. You turn the page, and turn the page this program has. Through 10 games, they have already won 5 of their first 10 games. I don't know how many people saw that coming, but I can guarantee you that some of the guys in that locker room certainly thought that that was entirely possible. Orlando joins us now. Orlando, thank you very much for joining us. First guest on
problem.
Tighten Up.
Sir,
Congratulations.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited.
So tell me a little bit about what this has meant to you. We're having this conversation just after, literally minutes after, you guys just pulled off that mammoth win over Purdue Fort Wayne at Callahan Hall. First of all, you guys must be feeling really good right now.
Amazing.
Tell me about what it was like to pick up that victory, because that's a hard win to get.
It means a lot to the guys in the locker room because preseason rankings, they were picked first and we were picked last. And, the guys in the locker room, being from Michigan, we kind of already came in with an underdog mentality. So being underdogs, having to constantly prove ourselves, we don't have a team full of 5 stars, 4 stars. So all we know is the grit and the grind, and it showed tonight.
Your coach, Mark Montgomery, has adopted grit, and that has been a word that has been used and tossed around in Detroit, and not carelessly, because the Detroit Lions have embraced that word.
Yep.
And you're a Detroit guy. You know all about how well that's worked with the Lions, and now it has been embraced here at Callahan.
Yep.
Tell me about what that looks like in a basketball version.
The best way I can explain it is, as a team, we picked up the personality of our coach. Coach is an intense guy. Coming in the summer, coming from my last program, it took me a minute to adjust. I'm 21 years old. I kind of looked at him like, hold on. But his intensity and his leadership carried down to me. I'm a natural competitor. I have a lot of fire and passion and emotion. And so it's easy to trickle it out to the freshmen once your coach and your point guard are on the same page.
It's funny you talk about Mark Montgomery's personality. Tell us, what does his personality look like to you?
He is the ultimate competitor. I don't know if anybody knows this. We had a 5K walk. Coach Monty, he beat the entire team all the way until the last lap, and I made the whole team just outbeat him. He walked past everybody that was walking. He wants to win everything in weights. We lift at 7 in the morning. He comes in the morning and brings energy the days we don't have any. He always is fired up. When he isn't around, you can tell, because his intensity, energy, and just his personality just makes everybody just jump.
Your assistant coach, who was on staff at Eastern Michigan last year, Lamonte Stone, I know you know him well, and I remember the day that I saw that you and Legend ended up in the transfer portal. And I remember sending a direct message to Lamonte and sending him that alert and saying, hey, your boys are in the portal.
Yeah.
And he messaged me back, and he said, they called me as soon as they put their names in. Take me back to that day.
So once we figured out, we learned that Coach Stone was leaving, he had to make his decision. And then Legend was the first to enter the portal, and nobody knows this. Legend was at Providence, and just one night we was playing the game at 3 a.m., and I decided, I just told Legend, like, hey, man, I think I'm going to commit to Eastern tomorrow. You should come. And he said, I'd love to come if they'd take me. True story, I called Coach Heath the next morning and said, Coach, Legend Jeter would love to come if you have him. And then I decided to go to Eastern, and then Legend, we committed and signed the same day. So once I found out he was leaving, he kind of made that call like, all right, man, I trusted you now. Just come trust me. And Legend was probably 85% of the reason why I left, and I'm glad I did.
So what's that relationship like? Clearly you guys are pretty close.
I knew Legend since, I want to say, 5 years old. Me and Legend are so close. On AAU trips, my parents would go down with Legend parents. We all go down. We play on AAU team together. I would go stay with Legend's parents. After the games, I would ride with Legend parents to the hotel. Legend would ride with my parents. We would never ride with our own parents, but we would ride with each other's parents. So, when I had my daughter, Legend was, I think, one of the first people to know, and he was the first person that took me to go see her mother, and, he had my back from day one.
You mentioned you have a daughter?
Yep.
Tell me about your daughter.
She is me as a girl. She is energetic. She loves to play all day. She stays up all night. She loves to just play, fight, and knowing me, her mother couldn't really handle my energy, but now it's two of me's. So I know her head hurts. I know she don't get much rest, but my daughter met her match with me because I want to stay up all night and play and eat junk food just like you. So we're perfect for each other.
You have a go-to junk food?
Whatever. So I don't want her mother to know this. So, whenever my daughter, she gets up first, I just pick her up. We go in the fridge. Whatever she grabs, that's what we eating for the morning, whether it's ice cream. Who knows? We just eat some Doritos. She ain't supposed to be eating Doritos, but I can't tell her no. So whatever she wants, she get.
How much are you sleeping these days?
However much she is sleeping. So that's
right. That is the correct answer.
And if I'm sleepy, iPad off, TV off, lay down, and don't move. So, she sleeps when I sleep sometimes.
How are you balancing that? There's not a lot of college basketball players, or really a lot of student athletes, that are balancing being a student, playing Division I sports, regardless of if it's college basketball or another sport, and also being a father. I mean, that's literally, to some people, 3 full-time jobs.
Well, being a father is not easy, but it was easier for me to adopt because I don't party. I don't do anything other than be in the gym. So, like most cases, young athletes, the mothers of their child, they be on their case. But my daughter's mother know that if I'm not with my daughter, I'm in the gym, and she knows that there's no place I would rather be than be with my daughter. But, we knew what came with it, and she's been a great help. She lets me be a Division I athlete, and, she does a great job.
So you've got support.
Yeah, I have a lot of support. Not to mention my family. It's like 18 of them deep every game.
What's that like? Because over the last handful of years, there hasn't been a whole lot of family in the stands here. And now all of a sudden we look up this year, and there's like 10, 11, 12 guys who are from the state of Michigan playing here. And all of a sudden it feels like everybody's family is in the stands.
It's kind of crazy because I think everybody that's in the stands know everybody that's playing on the court. Because being from Michigan, you play the same teams, so they've seen them from somewhere, seen their parents, and it's crazy. Grant's mom,
Grant Gondrzak,
comes and talks to me after every game. TJ's mom comes and talks to me after the game. Nate's uncle cusses me out after the game. So it's like, oh man, I gotta avoid everybody's family. So that makes being a Titan just that much better.
I'm sure that you hear it from a lot of different angles. And, one of the cool things about what has happened, and this all feels so new because, we've been at this now for, a month and a half in terms of games. I know you've been practicing for a couple of months now, but, we talked about when you reached out to your assistant coach in Lamonte, and I'm sure you probably remember the first time that you met Monty. Was it the first time you met Monty when he was a Detroit Mercy head coach, or did you know him before that?
That was the very first time I ever met him, was when I took my visit here.
Okay. What was that like?
I want to say Coach wasn't like other head coaches when it came to recruiting. He didn't pat me on the back, sweet talk me. He said, "Look, man, this is what you're gonna get. This is what I'm looking for you. Do you want it or not?" He said, I can't promise you anything. You got to come in here and work for it, and I believe in you. So he was straightforward, and that's what I like.
I was kind of watching during the game today, just the dynamic between you and him on the court and how he coaches you. How does he coach you from your perspective?
I feel like he coaches me how he would coach his son. He doesn't hold back any punches. He lets me be me. He keeps me. He trusts me. I trust him. I don't want to necessarily say he sees me as a son, but I like that when he wants to yell at me, he doesn't hold back words. I like the fact that when I want to yell at somebody else or I get loud with him, he doesn't take it as being disrespectful. He knows, we just trying to win this game, whatever it takes.
Have you had moments like that so far?
Oh man, I think every game we haven't had no blowouts. So every game came down to me and Coach. He drawing something up, and I agree with it, or he asks me what I see. So we have that interaction every game.
Is it hard to feel like or jump into what is assumed to be a role of a leadership spot on a new team quickly?
No, because which is so ironic. I played for another ball head crazy coach named Mark White in high school, and he, it's so Coach Mark White was the one who made the decision for me to come here. He was the other person. He was like, he coached just like me. He acts just like me. So coming in, he prepared me mentally for everything that I'm going through now, and it's kind of easy. I feel like I'm in high school again.
So what did it mean to you to be brought on? And I don't know if you felt like this when it happened, but when it happened, and in just kind of familiarizing yourself with some of the other guys who were brought in, and we keep an eye on just the backgrounds on different players when they come in. And so when we saw your name, I remember watching you play for Eastern against Detroit Mercy. Right. And I remember looking at your bio, and I remember thinking, like, how is this guy not on our team already? And so I'm curious, what did it mean to you to be brought on? Did it feel like they were bringing you on to become a focal point of this renaissance? Did you kind of feel like you had any sort of a responsibility because of the fact that you played at Eastern Michigan, the fact that you were a contributor? Did any of that cross your mind?
I think those were kind of the main things that crossed my mind. I actually went to Eastern to stay close to home, and being now that I'm in Detroit, a place that I grew up from, and being closer to home, that meant a lot. And one thing about Detroiters, we don't play about Detroit. So the fact that we won one game last year, I took it personally while playing for Eastern. So I knew I had to be a part of the turnaround.
And what does it feel like to you now, actually being a part of that?
It feels okay, but the job isn't done. I've been a part of teams where we won almost every game, and I've been a part of teams where we won 6 games, so it's not nowhere near over. I'm never complacent.
What's been the most satisfying part of the first 10 games of this season for you so far? What are you happiest about?
That coach's message, selfishly, that coach's message to me has not changed.
That's important.
Some coaches win one game, oh, okay, you're doing great. You win, you lose a game, you need to change everything. So with Coach, I feel like I've been playing consistently the same because his message to me has been the same. So it's been easier for me.
Kind of feels like a different guy aside from you because you've been one of the constants. Mm-hmm. But aside from you, it feels like there's somebody else that's coming with you almost every single game. And it seems like it changes every single day, whether it's Gondrzek at Eastern Michigan or it was Legend against Purdue Fort Wayne. It just feels like it continues to just be whoever is the hot hand alongside you on a particular day. Is that kind of the way this is built? You guys are kind of deep.
I think we're a team. I don't think there's ever really been a hot hand. It's always been however the defense is playing us, guys step up. Like I think TJ had double digits, Grant had double digits, Nate had double digits, Legend, and a large part of it is coach's game plan. Orlando, you get 2 on the ball, find the open guy. So however the defense wants to play us, we got threats. It's just pick your poison.
So tell me a little bit about your dad, because you're a father now.
Right.
So I would imagine that now being a father, you have a little bit of a different perspective on the stuff that your dad did, especially with some of the things that you went through shaping your life, your basketball life. Take me back through some of the things that he did and kind of how that impacts you now, especially that you can look at it through a different lens.
My dad was the hardest person on me ever in my life. Nobody will ever challenge me like my dad did. It really damaged our relationship, and but he always told me you won't understand until you have a kid. And it's like, ironically, my dad is kind of, I wouldn't say we're best friends because that's still my dad, but if I want to call and talk to anybody, I would probably call him first. I remember Saturday mornings, him waking me up at 6:30 to go dribble a basketball 100 times in the basement. I remember me not being allowed to play the video games, just to watch film after being in the gym for 4 hours. I remember getting in trouble in school and having to run the stadium stairs until I just couldn't.
What stadium was that?
This stadium.
This stadium.
Detroit Mercy.
You ran stairs here. How old were you?
How old wasn't I? For a majority of my life, I was here. I was here. Every summer on the track, I was out there.
You grew up here.
Yeah, I don't.
No wonder you took it personally when they were 1-31 last year.
It was so Cliff is the director of ops at Eastern now. He told, when I seen Cliff, I'm like, man, I know you from somewhere. He's like, yeah, you was the bad little kid that kept taking our basketball from the gym. So I've been here, if I'm 21 now, 15 years, since Ray McCallum was here. Eli Holman, the center for Detroit Mercy, I want to say 2010, he's my big cousin now. And we met him here. So
he came to watch you play.
Yep.
He was here today.
He came to watch my little brother play in Pontiac last night. So that just goes to show you how long that I've been around. So
talked to him today. He said he wasn't going to miss it today.
Of course he would.
Good thing he didn't.
He better not miss it.
79-78 over Purdue Fort Wayne. And it was you and it was Legend. And not only that, but you guys have your big game against Eastern Michigan. How cool is it to have that kind of success against the team that you played for?
Me and Legend, that was our game that we said, all right, Coach, you got to let us we can't lose that one.
There's that 3-man weave in between the circles. They get it to Lovejoy.
Waist-high dribble, stops and pops from the elbow. That's sweet.
Lovejoy, he's a mid-range assassin. When he gets in there, you can just count it as automatic.
I love Coach because he took the game personal with us. You know, he put himself in our shoes, and he understood our emotions. I had like 7 turnovers. I don't think he brought up one of them because turnovers are uncharacteristic for me, but he understood that I may have tried to do just a little bit extra, and he just stuck with me.
And now you find yourself 5-5, 1-0 in the conference, and you got to have a moment in front of your home fans. And you've had a couple of games at home so far. Now you've been here, so you've had a chance to see what this building's been like when it's been even more full than this. Take me through some of the times you've been here and seen this place when it's been really rocking.
I can tell you, so Jermaine Jackson played with Rashad Phillips here. That's my godfather. So Rashad Phillips, that's like just somebody in the neighborhood that we grew up looking to. E.J. Harrison was here at Detroit Mercy.
Jermaine's your godfather.
Jermaine's my godfather. I went to go play for Jermaine my senior year of high school. You know, E.J. Harrison, you know, when me and my dad would kind of bump heads about basketball, I remember him stepping in a lot. And I remember, you know, I always, in just such little kid mindset, when I was young coming here, I used to always watch. I used to be here when Butler was still in the Horizon League. I remember Butler playing here, and it was always Valparaiso, Valpo. They're not in the league anymore, but I always remember it was always a good game with Valpo, and I always sat the same spot, courtside my granddad, going to get him popcorn every media timeout, and so being here just really means a lot to me.
And you've seen a number of different coaches come through this building.
Yep.
You've probably gone through and you've seen Perry Watson, Ray McCallum,
Bakari
Alexander.
Jermaine when he took over the head coach, and then Coach Davis, and now Coach Montgomery.
Did I hear that you showed Mike Davis to his office on his first
when
day?
Coach Davis walked in here, I remember he just saw me and my dad in the gym, and that's where we met. That's how we met Coach Davis.
That's unbelievable. Yep. You're a lifer around here.
Yep.
Kind of feels like you were supposed to be here.
Yeah,
Does it feel like that to you?
My dad wanted me to come here out of high school and play for Coach Davis, you know, and I entered the portal after my freshman year, and this was the only visit I took, you know, so Titans have always kind of just been around for me.
When you entered, did you feel like, even before you took the visit, that this would eventually be the place for you?
I didn't even. When Coach found out I entered the portal, he said, "All right, man, we're gonna take the visit." I said, "Look, Coach, man, I really don't need a visit. I'm coming here. I'm gonna come down, meet you, and I'm ready to get in the gym." You know, I don't even think he showed me around campus because I think I know the campus better than he knows the campus. So it wasn't nowhere he could have took me, nothing he could have shown me that I didn't already know. So I just said, "Look, Coach, let's just meet each other. I'm ready to sign my name and let's get to work."
I'll leave you with this. And thank you very much for spending some time with us today. What is a successful season look like for you?
A lot of people don't see us achieving things such as top 3 in the league, top Horizon League Championship, NCAA tournament. But I played college basketball for 2 years, and the only reason why I don't think that's that far-fetched for us because we have the main things that teams need to be successful. We play hard, like overly hard. We all like each other on and off the court. And 3, whatever coach says goes. We don't have any bad people in the locker room that comes to the locker room, forget coach. You know, after he get done yelling out one of the guys, come on, man, you know he just wants you to be better. And so those 3 things, when you have a good locker room, when you have a good locker room and you play hard, I don't see why not us, you know.
Feels like some of the freshmen don't play like freshmen.
They play like freshmen. They have the heart of upperclassmen, because you got.
That's fair.
The fans don't see a lot of the thing. It's hard for teams to prepare for our plays because just sometimes the freshmen just in the wrong spot, and they just sometimes on defense they're in help and they're not supposed to be in help. Some things is just, but they do it with heart and they play so hard. So, like, I always, my granddad always taught me, with God on your side, anything can happen. With those freshmen, they play so hard, anything could happen. So that's why I love them all.
It feels like they want to be here and they want to do well. They want to play for Monty and for these coaches. Is that what it feels like to you?
I don't want to tell my freshman business, but I don't know how many of them guys had other offers other than UAD. So every game they have a chip on their shoulders to prove to the IPFWs, the Easterns, as to why not me. And if everybody has a chip on our shoulder, that's a scary team.
You guys play hard. How beat up do you feel after some of these games?
You never feel beat up after a win, but a couple of the losses, walking to the bus was a little harder than the win. So, I'm just glad we were able to win tonight.
Well, feels a little bit better when you get a dub like the one you got today. Orlando Lovejoy, cannot tell you how great it was to get to know you like this.
Thank you.
And I hope we get a chance to do it again. To know you on this level now, it is clear as day to see why the Titans decided to make you a focal point and a catalyst for men's basketball. Congratulations on being put in that position. And congratulations on a really good start here this season. It's been exceeding expectations for so many people, and you're a big reason why. Thank you very much.
No problem.
That's our conversation with Orlando Lovejoy, and I hope that you came away half as impressed as we did. What an unbelievably tremendous young man, and on so many different fronts. I mean, this is a hard enough game to play as it is at the college level, but to be a student athlete, we ask a lot of these players to be successful. At Detroit Mercy, it takes a very, very special player to be successful because there is a lot asked of them in the classroom, on the floor, or on the court. It is not easy to be a student athlete. There's a lot asked of them here. But then with a guy like Orlando, with a player like Orlando Lovejoy, you're also throwing in the fact that he is a father to a 2-year-old daughter. There's a lot going on for Orlando Lovejoy, and as you heard, he is getting ready to plan a party for her 2nd birthday. So, happy early birthday to Orlando's daughter. And if you would like to help out Orlando, his daughter, his family, you can do so by visiting us online at theshieldnil.com. And you can find out ways that you can help Orlando and his family. You can also follow us on X and Instagram at theshieldnil. That's going to do it for today's show, though. Thanks to all of you for listening. Be sure to check back later in the week as we continue to chat Titans basketball, and we check in on some of the other sports going on throughout the Titans athletic program. And don't forget to follow me on X at @DanHasty. Huge thanks to our friends at The Shield, and I'll talk to you Titans of Industry next time.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Tighten Up, the podcast. Join our community at The Shield on theshieldnil.org and follow us on X and Instagram at theshieldnil.
Tighten Up the Podcast is brought to you by Hyperice, the leading provider of innovative technology for recovery, mobility, and improved performance. They help the Titans, and they can help you too. Be sure to catch their holiday savings at hyperice.com.